All right, let's dive into something wild. The billion-dollar shell game. We're talking about a financial system that's all around us, but completely invisible. A system that moves billions, designed to make the impossible, well, possible.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. An office in Panama, a lawyer filing some papers, and boom, a company with no employees, no actual office, is suddenly sitting on $500 million? How? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But this is real and it happens all the time. That's the mystery we're gonna crack open today.
Okay, so Section 1, the impossible company. Let's start with this, financial paradox.
So, to really get this, you have to picture the scene. We're not talking about some high-tech Bond villain lair, you know? It's a normal office building. Probably a little boring, honestly. The kind of place you'd walk right past and never ever think twice about. But inside that totally unremarkable building, a single piece of paper, a legal ghost, is holding this $500 million. The difference between the boring outside and the insane numbers inside, that's not an accident. That's the whole point. It's designed to be overlooked.
Which brings us right to the heart of it, the big question for this whole explainer. How on earth is this possible? How can a company that doesn't really exist be worth $500 million? How can nothing be worth so much? All right, Section 2, decoding the shell game. So the key to this whole puzzle, what is it? And here it is. The key is something called a shell company. Now, what's fascinating here is that technically these things aren't illegal. A shell company is just a company on paper. No real office, no employees, but those very features make it the perfect tool for its real job, holding stuff, and more importantly, making it impossible to know who really owns it. And this is so important to get. This isn't about one little trick. It's not some tiny loophole someone found. The answer to our paradox is a massive, globe-spanning, incredibly sophisticated system that was built for one reason, to keep secrets. Okay, Section 3, how to hide $1 billion. Let's dig into the nitty-gritty, the mechanics of how this works.
So it's pretty much a 3-step dance. Step 1, placement. You gotta get the dirty cash into the banking system somehow. Step 2, layering, and this is the big one. You just bury it under a mountain of confusing transactions. And finally, Step 3 is integration. That's when the squeaky clean money comes back out to play in the real world. Okay, let's really zoom in on that middle step, layering, because that is the absolute heart of the shell game. See, the goal isn't really to hide the money, it's to hide its history. You want to create a paper trail so long and messy that nobody could ever follow it back to the start. Let's walk through an example to see exactly how it's done. Okay, so let's say our starting point is a big pile of cash from, say, the Sinaloa cartel, one of the biggest, most powerful criminal groups on the planet. First, that cash gets funneled into a shell company, and where do you put it? In a place with very friendly secrecy laws, a place like Panama. Sound familiar? It's just like the company we talked about at the very beginning. But the money doesn't just sit there, no way. It's instantly wired out to another shell company, this time on the other side of the planet, let's say Cyprus. And just like that, you've added another layer to the puzzle. But why stop there? To make things even more confusing, you then transfer it into an anonymous trust, which is a whole other level of secrecy, in, I don't know, a place like the island of Nevis. Now the trail is getting seriously murky. And then the final move. After bouncing all over the globe, that money is used to buy something totally legit, a fancy apartment in London, for example. And just like that, the money is integrated. It looks clean, its dirty past is buried so deep under all those layers, you'd never find it. Okay, Section 4, a world of shadows. So we know how it works. The next logical question is, who's actually using this system? And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Think about it. You've got a drug cartel, right? Physical cash, real-world crime. Then you've got a cybercrime group hacking into banks from a keyboard. I mean, they're from completely different worlds, but they both use the exact same system to clean their money. It's like a universal toolkit for crime. And believe me, the list of users goes on and on. We're not just talking about your classic criminals here. It's also corrupt politicians hiding bribe money, entire countries trying to get around international sanctions, even major corporations and super rich individuals trying to dodge taxes. Basically, if you have a reason to hide your money, this system is for you. So, Section 5, the system's secret. This brings us to what might be the biggest, most mind-bending takeaway of all. This whole thing is hiding in plain sight.
We really have to adjust how we think about this. This isn't an accident. It's not a case of a few bad guys finding some cracks in a good system.
The real kicker is this. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. This is a purpose-built architecture of financial shadows. You have a whole global industry, lawyers, accountants, bankers, that has spent decades carefully designing this invisible world for one single purpose: to hide things. So here's the bottom line. This shadow economy, it's not some far-off thing happening in another dimension. It's woven right into our own legitimate financial world. It runs alongside it, using our banks, our laws, our entire global infrastructure, every single day. And that's the final twist. Every piece of this system, the shell companies, the bank accounts, the trusts, it's all technically legal. It's all out there, visible if you know where to look. So that leaves us with a really unsettling final thought. What does it actually mean when the architecture of the shadows isn't built in the dark, but right out here in plain sight?